So this ITC Hotels demerger, it's actually happening tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's correct. January 1st is the effective date, which, is quite a big deal for ITC shareholders.
Okay, so what does that really mean for someone who owns ITC shares? I mean, what's the basic gist of it all?
Well, essentially, ITC is spinning off its hotel business into a separate company, ITC Hotels. Think of it like separating the different parts of a large toy set so that they can function independently.
Ah, so like they're setting it free in a way. But what will shareholders actually get, I wonder?
Right. So for every 10 shares of ITC you hold, you'll get one share of the new ITC Hotels company. And that will happen on the record date, January 6th.
So hold on, I need to have those shares by January 3rd?
Yes, exactly. If you want to be eligible for the ITC Hotels shares, you need to have purchased your ITC shares by then so that they're in your account by January 6th record date.
Okay, that's clear. But this new share, how will they figure out what it's worth?
Well, the stock exchanges, both BSE and NSE, are going to hold a special trading session to discover the fair price of ITC Hotels on January 6th.
A special session, huh? That sounds kind of fancy. So it's not like they're just pulling a number out of a hat then.
Absolutely not. It's a market driven process designed to find a price that reflects what investors are actually willing to pay for the new hotel business.
Okay, that makes more sense. And what about the money part? Are they like funding this new hotel company?
Yes, ITC is transferring about Rs 1,500 crore in cash to ITC Hotels for its growth and any contingency needs. That's a pretty decent starting amount, actually.
So a solid financial base. Got it. And everyone's talking about this. Will we actually see value from this split?
Well, it's a bit complicated. There won't be a direct value addition to ITC shareholders. Instead, the share price will get adjusted to reflect the hotel business leaving.
Adjusted how exactly?
It's like, imagine you have a whole pie and then you cut a slice and make it a separate pie. The original pie becomes smaller. The ITC share price will reflect that now they no longer own the hotel business.
So the pie is now in two pieces. Got it. So the total value kind of stays the same?
Yes, but the idea is that the hotel business as a separate entity could grow faster and that could unlock more value in the long run.
Ah, so like giving it room to breathe and really focus on its own growth. That makes sense.
Precisely, that's the thinking. They expect ITC hotels to potentially outperform ITC over time. So there is that possibility of more value long term.
So it's not just about splitting up, it's about future potential. I get it, I guess. But what about any risks?
Well, there's a short term risk, especially with ETFs. Some of them might need to sell ITC hotels shares after listing, which might create some pressure on the price temporarily.
Oh, right, because they can't hold a spin off stock?
Exactly. But that short term pressure, they think could actually be an opportunity for long term investors to buy in at a good price.
So, like a little dip before a potential rise, a sort of buying opportunity.
Exactly. It's like when a roller coaster dips before it goes up. And also, they say post demerger, ITC might have better returns.
Okay, so if ITC doesn't have the heavy hotel business anymore, its core business should perform better?
Right, that's the idea. They're expecting improved return ratios and cash flows for ITC after they separate out the hotels.
So, what are we thinking for ITC stock price post this whole thing? Any predictions?
Well, some estimates suggest that ITC could be worth around Rs 2150 in the medium term after the demerger.
Okay, so that's a potential target. But what about ITC Hotels itself? Any predictions for that?
They're expecting ITC Hotels to list somewhere between rupees 113 and rupees 170 per share, based on calculations of EV to EBITDA multiples.
EV to EBITDA multiples, that's a bit technical, but I get the gist. A range for the price. Okay, so what's the takeaway here?
The main thing is that shareholders are getting a piece of a focused hotel business, which has strong growth potential and a solid future.
Right, like they're getting a focused investment in the hospitality sector.
Yes, think of it as a chance to participate directly in the growth of ITC's hotel division, which they believe has significant potential.
Okay, so you're saying the demerger isn't just a corporate move, it's a potential investment opportunity.
Absolutely, especially for the long-term investor who wants exposure to the Indian tourism industry via hotels.
So patience is key, it seems, and understanding this whole separation process is, quite important.
Exactly. And remember, this demerger will start tomorrow, but the record date for those shares is still January 6th. So, time to pay attention.
Okay, well, thanks for clearing it all up. So, is this something you'd consider for yourself?
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. I think the long term potential is there for investors looking at the hospitality sector. So, who knows?
Fair enough. Well, I guess we'll have to watch what happens then.